Part one, how I
All right,
almost
y'all.
was hospitalized the
Story
very
time.
first time I got high as fuck.
Like y'all know, I'm writing this book. I'm doing a memoir. I need 500 to 1,000 followers every single day. I need 500 to 1,000 subscribers, likes, comments, shares every single day. All right, so the stories that I tell on my story time is typically stories. They're all pretty much from the '90s, so it's my real life things that I encounter, I seen along the journey in life. So um, this one here about one night man I tripped out. It was really like my first time getting high. So I was out smoking weed. So this was 90. This had to be 90. Shit, when was this? It was the early '90s. I don't know. It was the early '90s. I think it was in the '90s. I can't put a specific date. But anyway, I was young, double digits. Yeah, I was double digits. I was one. I was anywhere from 10 to 15, somewhere up in there. I'm not sure what age I was, but somewhere up in there. I was a teenager, a young teenager. Okay, so preteen is what they call it, I guess. So I lived on Gillette, and that particular night, my mom and my auntie and all of them, they used to go to Bay St. Louis and Las Vegas and stuff to casino. They used to take trips on the weekends and whatever. They used to do that. And my older cousin, they used to watch me, stay by my house. And, so I stay at home because I had my game and stuff and stuff like that. So, all right. So, Tweety, my sister, she's one of my oldest cousins, female. She was watching me. So she was there at the house. Titi, Elnora, my other sister. Uh, she lives like right next door to me. So, but in general, Tweety was staying at my house to watch me or whatever. She's older than me, whatever. All right, so we get ready to leave from out my house. Old Cecil, Gargamel, he used to sell joints 3 for $10 back in the day. If anybody know, they know. That was back then when you ain't had to worry about nobody lacing you. You can buy joints rolled up already. Nobody wasn't putting nothing in your shit. You ain't had to worry about it because everybody respected everybody. Everybody was on real time, you know what I'm saying? So that's why the '90s was so great. Some of you youngsters would never, ever witness or understand that shit. Okay, that was back in the time where you smoke your little weed and have you a drink. It had pain pills they do here and there, and snort a little coke, but all that X and Molly and all that shit. It was heroin wasn't even a thing popping in my area. Where back in my area, it was a thing, but it wasn't what it is today. It's just outrageous today. It's just a drug of choice, like a fucking cigarette or a drink today. It wasn't that. It was like some foreign shit. Like niggas like, nah, we ain't fucking with that. That ain't our thing. But New Orleans, yeah, it been going down there. But in our area, it wasn't a big thing. Like it wasn't popular. Okay. All right. So that night, my mom and them they was gone, right? So we came out, went found Cecil. It was me, Peanut, Titi, the Eleanor, and Tweety. It was four of us. I just remember. So we leave. We all get Cecil, get the little joints. Bam! I remember we was standing right in the road by my house. It was night. I remember just like yesterday. So goddamn it, I fucking we got the joints and shit. Boom, fired up one, hitting that bitch, passing around. I'm hogging it. I'm talking coughing my fucking lungs out. That was back then when, you know, you ain't have like 2 different kinds of weed. You had like homegrown and Indo. You know, homegrown like Reggie, and that Reggie back then was fire. It was good to go. You got zooted off. It was great, you know. And it was basically like 2 kinds of weeds, maybe 3, but we only had like 2. We only had like fucking that Indo and homegrown. That was like the only weed we had. Like, that was it. What no other strands heard of. This shit they got now, it's fucking ridiculous. You know the government putting chemicals in that shit. Got to be. There's no way the government gonna give you nothing and saying that it's legal, that it ain't gonna kill you. The same thing like alcohol, cigarettes, you know, just stuff that they make pharmaceutical, stuff that they make legal that's supposed to be a drug or what. They're not making nothing legal that they ain't putting nothing in to kill your ass. Point blank. Anyway, so we got the joints I'm hitting. Bam, that's 2. That's 1 joint. I think we smoked 1 right there. We started walking. Boom. Before we got to the corner, we had to fire the hood up. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. I'm hitting it. Hogging that bitch. Hogging that bitch. Bam, we get on murder. Boom. Well, we get probably by the shop. By the time we get by the shop, we had to lift the 3rd one up. I'm hogging that bitch. I know before we got past the shop, the joints was smoked. They was burnt. We was done with the joints. So we got like right on the corner where Pac-Man used to live at, in that house right there, right before you get to Paris. Soon as we got right there on that corner by their house, and if anybody know, you get off the road, it got a little tree right there. Well, it had a little tree right there by the fence, and little rocks, like a little area where people used to pull over and park and used to chill out, you know, by the road, by the fence, by their house. So we get about right there, we walking. I start feeling kind of funny, you know, so I'm like, damn, kind of feel crazy. I ain't saying nothing, but in my head, I'm like, damn, I'm kind of, you know, I'm young. This is like my first time really feeling this way. So we turned by Paris. We were going over there by Robert Earl and them house, with Robert Earl and little Willie Floyd. They live right over there by on side of Paris. So we were going over there because my cousin Tweety, she was going over there by Laverne, which was a friend. So bam. But before we get into Paris driveway, because you gotta, you know, come across the rocks and then they house right there. So before we right before we can get, well, matter of fact, right in front of Pac-Man and them house where the street run on Cherry Street over there, like right before Paris, it's got a tree right out there, and they gate to that's actually their front door, but it got a gate that leads out to the road. We was out, you know, walking on the sidewalk right there, and I looked at everybody. Man, I started seeing these lights glowing around their fucking head, bruh. I'm like, damn, everybody I look at, they had lights glowing around their fucking heads. Like, I'm like, God damn, I'm like, bruh, and I'm like, it was kind of freaking me out, right? But that's part 1. That's part 1. I want y'all to go over to my next post for part 2.